Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Tuesday morning? Seeing a little bit of risk off out there across the markets. We're seeing the dollar pop this morning. We do have ISM manufacturing coming up this morning at 10 o'clock, so an hour from now. This person seems to think that the dollar could fall if the upcoming ISM manufacturing survey shows continued inflationary pressures and falling employment. I think that's exactly the opposite of what we would see, but yeah, I think this is what we would see if we would see continuing inflation and all that good stuff. But here's the thing. I mean, the Fed's number one tool to fight inflation is to cut rates, right? We know that, but we'll see what's going on. I look to see if we were getting a pop in the yen or the Swiss franc to see if they were running out of risk into that, and they're not. Yen and Swissies also getting absolutely wrecked. They're down 1%. And then here is the futures on the S&P pulling back pretty viciously here this morning. Took a look at it, and early this morning around the London session, or a couple hours after the London session opened, we had a retest of an old area of potential support, ended up being resistance, and we're down from there. And if we look up top here, up here on this bottom right hand side, that's your S&P futures. You can see you just took out the previous week's low and kept right on going. So that isn't great. But it's not terrible, as last week's low isn't very far away. We got the 21 exponential setting way down here, and I'm not going to get bearish until we get to that point. With that being said, Bitcoin is currently testing this area as support. Now we have NFP on Friday this week. I think the NFP numbers are going to be way more important than the ISM, but the ISM is important. And right now, as far as trades open on cryptos, I am short Pingu right there we're in profit up to about 475 here. I got to take some profits on this. Let me go ahead and do that, and then we will look to put on positions if we can find it. A lot of stuff's already been getting beat up. We shorted yesterday during the live stream. We shorted XMR, and that trade worked out pretty good until the new daily candle opened. So we'll go look at that real fast. So yesterday we were up in here, and we decided to take the short, and you can see that played out really good. And then we opened a new day, and then all of that move that happened on Monday was retraced. And then as soon as we got back up here and liquidated this swing high, it literally rolled over again. But that happened this morning. That would have been the opportunity right there. So I'm not going to chase this thing with it down that big. And it's not even down on the day. It's up 0.34%. But we'll look and see if we can't find something here. Yesterday we had a bullish bias on Bitcoin, and we were looking to get long at the September open, and this was our target, because our target came from a measured move, which was this arrow. This is the arrow that I was talking about during the live stream. We were over in here during the live stream, and I told everybody that I was waiting for a retest down in this area, and depending on what happened down in here would determine whether or not I took the trade. It was so late in the session, and I already was up $1,000 on what I did on XMR and a bonk trade over the weekend, that I was like, screw it. But we were looking for this to be our profit target, because basically I took this up here like that, and it was in this area somewhere in here. I was looking for profits, and it's like because we didn't make this move at that point yet, we hadn't put all this work in on the daily range. We were over in here. This is 11 a.m. I do the live stream same time as I'm doing it right now, but for the Discord. But anyways, We were looking for a potential test of $111,000. That was our profit target on Bitcoin. It's been hit, and now things are pulling off here a little bit. It's not great. It's not great news. We were expecting this breakout to happen, and I wanted to see support hold. It could be holding here, but with risk markets down as bad as they are this morning, it would be a stretch to get me to buy Bitcoin down here. But at the same time, the VIX is at an area of potential resistance. You're up at $19. But since you're up to $19 and the last 3 days on the VIX have been up days, we have to question if something else is going on. So since Bitcoin's closing daily candles below the 21 exponential moving average, which is this yellow average right here, as long as you're below that, you can look for short trades. And as you can see, we are currently retesting the August range downtrending line. So this would be your August downtrend. We started a new month yesterday. We'll see if it can break out of this downtrend today. But like I said, risk is down. VIX is up. Be a dangerous trade to get long. Excuse me 1 second here. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. If you almost get ready, get your coffee, get everything situated, we're going to look for us a new trade here this morning. I need to go ahead and take profits on that Pingoose trade real fast. Just let me do that. I'm going to do 60% at 75% and then set a stop for 0 at 100%. All right, so yeah, that is situated. So let me see if I can get a fill right here. Just needs to tick down a little bit more. The reason I'm taking trades here is because we are into potential support. We didn't break down support here. We closed higher than it and then seen a move to the upside. So even though it's a shortable opportunity up here, I still have to be careful that it may find support right there. Hence the reason I want to take profits into that, just in case it comes back up in my face, as I want to get paid for the risk that I took. So there's another $300, $350 added to the weekly gains. We're up about $13.50 and the week just started. That's a good sign always. That is never a bad thing because we're good at managing money. So we know almost 400% certainty at this point we will be going into the weekend green, which is always the objective. Also took a scalp on the micro ES futures contract. I just simply bought a put option 7 days out. That option is now in the money pretty decently. I bought it at the money down here when we were testing that level of support or resistance this morning. So that was a nice little scalp also. Excuse me. So we're doing okay, but let's go ahead and see if we can't find something here. Fartcoin is up 4% on the day. So I actually like Fartcoin for a short. I don't have an objective level here. This blue line is the 100 EMA on the 30-minute time frame. I like to watch that level, but it's like not an objective price point to watch. Here's the 4 hour. Obviously, I would like to get up in here somewhere better for the short, as there's the 21 exponential on the 4 hour. And also you can see here on the RSI, we were testing the 50 on the RSI. That is the midpoint. That is also where we look for resistance. And when we're testing it from above like this, we look for that to be support. Well, it has been resistance since we put in these swing lows back in August the 25th. There, you can see that 50's been acting as resistance. So obviously it could be turning around because this is a pretty volatile move off the lows. But with risk off being the way it is today, it might not be risk off, right? It could be a buying opportunity. We have the ISM numbers coming up, and we'll check those. And if those numbers, excuse me, I'm burping up coffee. If those numbers are good, then we'll see how the market reacts to that. It could be a buying opportunity. So I need to get out of this trade before that happens on the micro ES futures. That Tesla trade is going to be getting absolutely beat up. And I'm not exactly sure what the risk was on that. I'm thinking it was about $100. So that's the max we can lose on it. Clearly it rolled over here and just has kept falling. I kind of drew in a channel here to show us what Tesla's actually doing. It's trading inside the May candle. So you're still in a 4-month range here on Tesla. Nothing has changed on that front. This ascending channel could be looked at as bearish. If it were to break out to the downside, we could expect a retest of the August open. We'll see how that goes. And then the other trade that everybody is watching for this week is going to be gold. This one's going to be a big one right here, right? Now, something you should be aware of. Gold is currently up big today, and so is the dollar. So you actually got dollar strength, and you did not get gold weakness. The reason is because it was accumulated down here. This is when we got out of our shorts. We saw that inability to break down. Then when we finally broke down, we wanted to see continuation down from here. We did not get that. It immediately bounced up and then went right back above July's open, which was in this area right in here, 308. And then it came back, retested July's open for support, held. You should have gotten out before this because we got out on that, right? If you're still in it and you're expecting this to break down, beware. It's not breaking down with gold, with dollar strength at this point. You are a hair of making fresh all-time highs on this. And since you've accumulated for so long, this is a Wyckoff accumulation formation. All right? It's a pretty big deal. Now, we don't know if the breakout's going to hold. The sellers could take profits up here. That would be best case scenario for you if you're still holding a short from down here. But yeah, I mean, we're actually thinking that this thing could continue to run. And if it does, the measured move on this is massive. Like, you can put a measured move on here like that and then just set it in this area. I mean, you're looking at like 341 on a measured move to the upside break on GLD. It's going to be the same for gold, as GLD just tracks gold futures. So if you're long gold futures or even gold miners, you should be doing good. So you can see here, fresh all-time high on the XAU. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at. Now, it could pull back with dollar strength now that it's made a fresh high, but we'll see what it does. We'll see what it does. A lot of quirky things happening. I would not have expected gold to have this big of a move yesterday and coming into today's session with the strong dollar. I'm going to be honest with you. And I honestly was looking for yen to bounce if risk off was going to be a serious issue, and we're not seeing that. So that's the big one that everybody's watching. So Fartcoin coming back over to here. I do want to try to get a position on this. So what we can do, we're going to end up chasing this if we don't get another retest. We're going to end up having to chase this. Unfortunately, it's That and NAENA, and this has already had a big move down, are the only two that are up nicely. That's it. So we either have to get short Fartcoin or get short ENA. As far as getting long, if you want to put long exposure on the crypto market, you should be looking to put long exposure on Bitcoin or Ethereum. Okay? Bitcoin or Ethereum. And as you can see, it's September the 2nd. You could be putting in a monthly low down here, but as long as you're under September's open, you're threatening lower prices, right? So you don't necessarily want to be holding upside exposure while you are currently bearish. So basically, you have to make a decision, right? Bitcoin looks better for me if I'm wanting to put on long exposure in the crypto market than any alt whatsoever, right? It would be Bitcoin, and that's just because it's currently testing, or it's currently above, I should say, September's open. We'll look at this chart. This chart is easier on the eyes, and it isn't as discombobulating as my normal chart that I look at. So we'll focus more on this one, but these charts are the ones that I have already drawn up that tell a story. And this is the story. August was bearish for Bitcoin, right? We set in or retested July's range, and then we had a move to the upside where we set a fresh all-time high in the month of August. And then after we set the all-time high in the month of August, it has been a continuation run lower, and you set new monthly low in after new monthly low. So this was your monthly low for the month of August, right here at around 112. Then you put in a new monthly low here, and then another one, and then another one. You get what I'm saying, right? That is downside continuation. So for the month of August, you were bearish. Right now in the month of September, you are potentially setting a monthly high. I would hate for this to be the monthly high, because that could mean we're going to see more downside in September. We know statistically Septembers are bad for Bitcoin. So yeah, you kind of have a little bit of a decision to make here today. Do you get long in the face of bearishness, in the face of a bearish trend? You are currently trying to break out of a trend line, but your bearish trend is still intact even if you break above this trend line. Your bearish trend for the month of August until you get above the midpoint, which is up here. So the reason we're watching the 236 and the 382, we usually never do this on this channel, but the reason we're doing it now is for one simple reason. These two levels can tell us just how weak the September range might be. For instance, if it has the inability to even close a daily above the 236 in the month of September, then you know Bitcoin is extremely weak, coming off of downside continuation in the month of August. It's very important for intraday trades. Very important for intraday trades. It just basically helps us gauge our bias. Right now it looks good. It looks like this would be a buying up. So I am looking for the short opportunities on the alts, the meme tokens. They are the ones that got absolutely destroyed already. I get that. But as far as I'm concerned, if you look at Fartcoin on a monthly basis here, or a monthly time frame, there's still plenty of this rally to give back. Plenty, because the rally started here in March. Boom, boom, boom. You got 3 months of upside. Then it went into a period of consolidation, and then we broke out of that consolidation just last month. So if I'm expecting any downside continuation to come from that move, then I want to try to position myself for a short entry for September's high and look for potential downside continuation on Fartcoin. Something like that. And I could target this area all the way down here. Do you see what I'm saying? It looks perfect, right? It's so easy. We got this. Now, if Bitcoin is going to be bullish today, that's the only one I can buy. So I will try to position long. If I haven't missed my shot, I will try to position long here on Bitcoin and then position short on Fartcoin. All right, so we should probably be getting close to shorting Fartcoin here, actually. Let me pull Fart up. The main trades I'm focused on for today's session: long Bitcoin, short Fartcoin. I've already capitalized on Pingu short and put 350 in the bank. So whatever happens with Pingu, I don't care. I'm looking to enter a new position here. Yeah, a new position. I'm going to go ahead and throw on a very small piece of risk on right now to kind of chase it a little bit here, but it's a very small position size. And then I can add to it if it starts to give me the move I want. Here's the thing. If we are in a period of risk off, like if this S&P 500 move here is legit and we're going to see more of it, right? This is a pretty legit move. Let me see, how down is it? It is down 1.3%. That's a pretty big move considering that we were only down 1% for the whole week. That 1 week, right? So we're down already 1%, 1.3%, and the week just started. So if we are going to see risk off, then something like this, you don't need a huge position size on, because you could see a 20% down day today or tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could see a big ass move to the downside on something like Fartcoin. And by getting long Bitcoin, that kind of hedges off the risk. So, yeah, we can do that. We got money. We're good. We're golden. All's good. So let's make some more. Let's try to make some more today. So let me go ahead and get Bitcoin situated over here on this one, on this tab, and then I'll get everything situated for the session as the bell is getting ready to go off. Risk small, miss small. That's the perspective I want you to have today. You risk a small amount of money and you're wrong, you will lose a small amount of money. This volume structure looks good for a short up here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This looks pretty bad. But if it were to break out to the upside, this could propel Bitcoin higher. So you could get another measured move out of this that would look something like that, right? It would just help it. Boom. But that is if it goes up. And the way things are looking right now, that doesn't appear to be the case, but we'll see. I'm looking for a retest at 30-minute support on Bitcoin. So I want to be alerted when we get to roughly here. Why didn't it give me the alert? And then also I want to be alerted when it hits here, as that's the midpoint, while I'm getting my charts set up. As I just crawled my happy ass out of the bed. I haven't even really got a chance to set up yet. All right, get our nicotine pouch in. Let's do this. Now, why didn't that alert me? You guys are sitting here looking at this as well as I am. We are not on log. It literally just crossed this price and it did not alert me. Did you hear the alert? I did not hear the alert. All right, so I'll put a little piece of long on Bitcoin right here. Since we have the money to play with. A good lot of money. This is the short fart we just jumped into. No stop, because I'm watching it up here on the big screen. The Bitcoin is a little bit above what I'm looking for, but there's the September open. So this is the retest that I want to see it bounce from. I've obviously missed that trade, but I can manage my risk from this candle's swing low. So we'll go in. What do I got here? Open. Available. Okay. So we want to start small. Excuse me. We can always add longs. There's the alert. A little bit late, bub. A little bit late. Oh man, it's starting to push. So we may miss it here. Man. Let's see if we can get a retest here. Yeah. I got it. Thank you. You're late as hell. So the reason I darken the moving averages is because when I'm looking at it on a small time frame, I don't want them to be like overwhelming or very, too powerful, because they do work on the small time frames. Even you can see how you trended to the downside for a couple hours there. You could have managed your risk off the 200, which is the purple line up top. Notice how Bitcoin trades right up to that on a 1 minute time frame and finds a bit of resistance here. Now we're not expecting that to be the end all be all resistance as we're trying to get long, but it could be, right? It could be. If it's going to continue lower, I wouldn't expect it to be much above that and then find resistance, like maybe up in here. Now we do need to put on today's VWAP. We've got September's VWAP here in blue. We also need to put the weekly VWAP on in green. So let's go ahead and do that. Obviously they'll be the same. And then we need today. That would be in white. So we track monthly, weekly, intraday VWAPs. Intra-month, intra-week, intraday. We don't care about any other kind. And then we'll watch the moving averages as it kind of helps us mitigate risk. You can see right up here is that white line. That is going to be your intraday volume weighted average price. So as long as you're trading below that, you can say the bears pretty much have control of price. And then up here is your volume spike up at range highs. So it does in fact look like the bears are in control of price. So this is where they're going to be looking for shorts to be added. We also need to do this same exact thing for Fartcoin. So that one's got to be blue. I guess we can leave it blue for the whole week. We don't actually need to make it put a green one on. We'll just leave it blue and then we'll put the weekly on next week, right? We don't need to put a weekly in a... I didn't really think that through. Like I said, I just got up, so bear with me. Bear with me. It's just trading. It's not rocket science. We're doing just fine. The Fartcoin looks okay here, as it is finding a bit of support right where we would want to see it hold support if it's going to continue to move up. So let's jump out of the fart short for now. Take our $34 loss. It ain't no thing. Ain't no thing, right? We'll keep it on watch, though. Because if at any point when we get that news, Bitcoin starts to roll over, this will too. And we know the news is coming at 10. So this entire run up here on Fartcoin could literally be setting the monthly high. It's a little bit early to be looking for the monthly high. I'm not saying that it is putting in the monthly high. I'm just saying if it's bad news, it could literally set the near term month high. That would be the best place to look for shorts. For now, that's going to be the last 4-hour swing high. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that. That'll also be the day high, the daily high. So if you get above that, you will have liquidated today. Yesterday's high is here. So we've already liquidated yesterday's high. And then we can also watch here. So that gives us 2 points for potential shorts if we're trading under these points. And we did get filled on the Bitcoin long. It was a pretty bad fill. Pretty bad fill, as I wanted to get filled down here. I had to keep chasing it because price was moving up. Very small position size. Like I said, when your volatility is running pretty good, like it is now, you can expect a little bit bigger ranges. Therefore, you don't want to be upping the risk. You want to be lowering the risk when volatility expands, because you're going to get bigger ranges. So you'll make more money with less risk when you have VWAP or volatility expansion. Remember, risk markets are getting beat up right now. Beat up. Apple's down 1%. So Apple's pulling off here a little bit. Has been Microsoft down 0.8%. I don't know why the platform is lagging. My internet is great. There was a speed test before I went live, so don't understand what's going on. Microsoft down 0.8%, Nvidia down 2 point something percent. Though, I mean, it's red. It's red across the board on tech right now. Though if tech is red, S&P's red. If the IWM red, S&P's red. Here's tech. It's all down. Let's check the IWM. As we closed that trade out last week, it's down. And then ultimately we do want to look at that Tesla trade, as we are sitting in a long on that. We're only down $33 on that trade. So here it is. There's the open Tesla position. We're only down 33 bucks, very small loss. The MES is up nicely. It's covering that. So we're okay. All right, let's go back over here to Fartcoin. We don't want to lose this opportunity. We can take a couple small losses on it. It's okay. We got the money, right? But we do want to keep it on watch. We do want to make sure that it, if it's finding resistance or whatever, we want to be ready to jump on that. So I need to set the weekly and daily. This one is August's up here, so ignore August. We're in September now. We don't really care about August's VWAP. What we do care about is August's range. So let's get rid of the August VWAP. We only care about today, this week's, and September's. We go set the August range. Maroon for monthly. That way when we look at the fib, we can identify it instantly as being the monthly. So the 236, which is a normal retracement point when price is range bound, it's a weak or the first area, but that's way up here. So we may be looking for shorts a little bit too low. I think I would rather mitigate risk off of yesterday's high. Than that 4-hour swing, as it just makes me feel a little bit more competent, or confident, not competent. We are nothing but incompetent here. But we like to have some confidence, correct? Just kidding. We're very competent. We make money, so we're doing good. All right. Yeah, that's where we're setting. The Bitcoin long still working. It is coming into resistance. You got 4-hour res up in here. You also got the 50 exponential on the 4-hour time frame. That's kind of irrelevant. The main thing that's going to be working as resistance on Bitcoin today, in my opinion, would be the 21. And we're a long way from that, I'm pretty sure. I don't exactly remember where it is. I know it's in here somewhere. There it is. So we're way up there into daily res. Beautiful. So we can mark that area on the chart as D-Res 21 EMA. Just lets us know what's what. So as long as we're trading above yesterday's high on Bitcoin, the risk is the 236 and then daily res. Right? So it's a little bit difficult to take the short right here on Bitcoin. We're not looking to short Bitcoin. We're already short ES. We're looking to short Fartcoin. But if Bitcoin stays strong, Fartcoin could as well. So today's short might not work out. That's why we want to be holding Bitcoin longs at the same time. When you're putting the risk on Fartcoin, you're only putting risk on the areas that I put risk on, right? Don't be trying to get fancy and put it on and try to call the day high or this wick high, because that type of stuff would just get you beat up, right? You need to mitigate your risk at a specific level. When you're trading above that level, you are not looking to put risk on, because the threat is it's going to continue to run to the highs. But the asset overall is extremely weak. Extremely weak. So if it's trading under the point, then you can put risk on. Right now, the only two places to watch are up here or here. In between is a potential range. So this could set into a trading range where it just does something like this. So you would be putting on a short, getting stopped. Putting on a short, getting stopped. Right? So we don't love this zone as our short entry. We would rather watch how price reacts up here. It may not give us that. So we may have to put risk on here one more time, but it's up to you to design or specifically know how much that's going to be. For me, it's 30 to 50 bucks, right? I'm never losing more than 30 to 50 bucks when I throw risk on, and I'm getting out very quick. If it's not working for me, I'm just jumping out, because I know if I'm right, I'm going to make several $100s, not just one or two, several hundred. So I can afford to lose 60 or even 90 on multiple attempts. But it's too strong right now to even think about putting on risk down here. So we'll let it play out. Remember, news at 10. News at 10. Okay, I just got stopped out of the Pingu short that I put on earlier this morning. So it was a good idea to take $350 worth of profit off of that trade. I'm glad I did. There we go. So that's why I always take profits. Always. Without fail. Always. Bitcoin is a massive engulfing 4-hour right now. Fantastic stuff. So our long looks bad, but it looks good. I mean, we'll take it. We will take it. The account is growing. That's what we're looking for here. It's not a lot of money, but it's money. And that's what we want. So Fartcoin's still pushing up here. Looking very strong here on the intraday time frames. Holding the intraday VWAP. Actually, I'm not even sure I put that on yet. Come on, man. Get with it, bro. Get with it, man. Oh, yeah, we're good. So this is going to be September and week 1 of September's volume weighted average price. And then we'll move this white volume weighted average price each new day session open, right? So that way we can track. This is last week's or even maybe the week before. I don't know, because I haven't shorted Fartcoin in a minute. I've been shorting other things like Bonk. We shorted Kronos the other day. We shorted XMR yesterday. And this thing isn't really trending. So if you are short XMR from up here, I don't disagree with the trade. Just understand that it's failing to break down. This is an accumulation formation, but it is weaker overall. So you could be looking for the shorts up here. Like I said, it's not a bad trade to take, because here's your expansion phase. Here's your consolidation phase. So if you were to break down, you could expect another expansion phase down into this area, right? So I do like the short. The problem is they have not been working out. We have not been getting downside continuation. We caught the short yesterday. It came down into here. I took profits, and I'm glad I did, because it came right back up and stopped me out. So always take profits when you're in a range. Always take profits regardless, whether you're trending or in a range. Please take profits. All right, going back over to Fartcoin. Once we get the news here in 12 minutes, I will start looking at your requests. If you want me to analyze a chart for you, if you think there is a setup, you tell us, we will trade it. We trade everything here. Futures on stocks, which the only futures are on the index products. There are no futures on stocks, individual stocks anymore. That's a thing of the past. But there's options on stocks. We trade options. I know I know a lot of good profitable option strategies. We trade futures, stocks, crypto, Forex. We trade everything. Everything. We don't trade weird futures like cotton and soybeans and, you know what I mean? Most of my futures trading is going to be on the ES and MES, and occasionally I will take trades on oil, gold, things like that. But I mostly focus on like my day-to-day, my week-to-week money that I withdraw from the markets to pay bills is from crypto gains and Forex. Right now we're sitting in a short on Forex in the USD JPY that is not working. I mean, it started to work, but then it went into a period of consolidation and has not gone anywhere. It has we got one real good day out of the short, which was NFP last month. That's where we got that. And then we've done nothing since. So it's NFP, and then this Friday, NFP, hopefully. Right? But if it continues to go up, if it starts closing dailies above this point, then I will just end up managing what profits I have. I'm short from up here, so I am still nicely into profits down here. The problem is the profits are not as good as they were because the shorts have been paying the longs. So you've been paying the damn longs, and that sucks. Bitcoin breaking out to the upside, having a nice move here. Looking fantastic. This is the first area of potential resistance. 9 minutes to the news. 9 minutes to the news. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Lifestyle Media. Good morning, traders. That was me. Sorry. Greetings to you all. Good morning. What's up, Philip, Mario, Madge, Peter, Adam, everybody. Good morning. All right. Yeah. Just chilling. We got our positions set. Since the yen is going up, let me go look at that real quick. Since the yen is going up, I'm going to leave that Tesla trade on. If we take out today's low or if we take out pre-market lows, then I'll probably just close it, but it'll still be a very contained loser. Yeah, currency futures is what I need right here. The yen is getting beat up really bad. So what I want to see, if this risk on is legit, I want to see this end up being support. And then look back a week from now and be up in here. If that happens along with a rising VIX, then I will be heavier looking for, I will be looking for shorts a lot more aggressively than what I'm doing right now. Right now, with the yen structured like this is still just a pullback on the S&P. This is still just a pullback on Bitcoin. The yearly range for Bitcoin is up. It is up nicely. So this is still within the context of a normal market correction. We are not seeing any massive risk-off fears here. Normal volatilities, normal market correction. But if that yen starts to go up, then I will be like, okay, maybe we got something else going on here. I will look at TAU in a little bit, Peter. I guess I could go look at it real quick since we're just sitting here waiting. Let me get back over on Fartcoin though, because I definitely want to keep that thing on watch. Oh, I do have Fartcoin on watch over here. Okay, so this would have been a decent little area to mitigate risk from on Fartcoin, and I missed it. So I'm going to pull Fartcoin back up. It's up much more significantly now, being up 7%. And yesterday's high is that point of where we want to mitigate our risk from. As long as we're trading under that, we can be short. Yes, this is a terrible looking candle to be trying to short. I get it. We could be very early, as that 236 is all the way up here, and this is August's retracement. So even if it got up here and rejected, it would be a weak September. So we gotta getting short down here, knowing that price can run all the way up there before it starts to pull back again, is very aggressive. I'm not even gonna joke around here. Very aggressive. But I'm up so good on the week already. I got the money. You can't, if you don't take the opportunity, you can't seize the glory. You just gotta mitigate what you're losing when you're wrong. It's so simple. Once you wrap your head around that, you will make so much money in the markets. It's not about predicting what price will do. We are reacting to what it is doing. That is all we're doing. So we don't want to take a swing here 37 times today, or we don't want to keep trying to short every 1 minute swing high. We have specific areas where we want to be short from, and if price is not respecting what we're asking for, if it is not respecting my authority, then we leave it alone. We let the long on Bitcoin work. Volume may have peaked on Fartcoin. It may have. Ben Cohen was talking about palladium is at a good spot for longer term hold. I don't know what palladium is. I'm assuming it's a precious metal. I don't trade it ever. I never have. So maybe Ben knows what he's talking about. I can analyze the chart if you give me a ticker though, because I'm a price action analyst. That is what I do. I can trade any asset. Just because I've never traded it doesn't mean I can't trade it. I can analyze it just as good as any other asset. Just drop the ticker in there for me and I will look at it here in a bit. 4 minutes till the news. 4 minutes. And the news that we're looking for is the ISM. It's coming up here in just a bit. So the numbers that we actually got last month was 48. They are forecasting an uptick, a beat. So anything under 49 will be considered a miss. Anything under 48 is a miss from last month and would be a big miss for forecasters. I don't know how price will react to that news, but I know we are trading at levels that we like right now, and that's always a good thing. We're currently above the yearly opening range on the VIX, not necessarily a good thing for risk on. We're above the resistance level we were watching at, well, we'll just call it 1660, which was this last bullish up closing candle. We wanted to see resistance hold there. It did kind of yesterday, but yesterday was a non-trading day. So that was a wash. Here we are today. Boom. So basically, if we close under this level today, then it's still a buying opportunity on risk assets. That is a buying opportunity on the S&P. 3, 5, 10% corrections on the S&P are buyable. This is not a 3, 10 or 3, 5, 10 here. We only got down 2% with this move. Oh, I mean, it's not down, not severely down. And you got previous month's midpoint down here. This is a beautiful area to look to be a buyer for continuation up. Right? Right now the markets are bullish, so you want to be a buyer on dips. Although looking at this cash market chart, you know, it looks a little bit weird. We did make a fresh all-time high and we are pulling back, so that is concerning. But notice where you're rejecting right now. You're rejecting the low edge of the expected move. That is a buying opportunity in risk-on markets. We are in a risk-on market. It just don't feel like it because Bitcoin's been correcting for the last 3 weeks. Fartcoin's been correcting for the last 6 weeks. 1 minute on the news, 1 minute. We'll see if we can catch it here. Looking for the ISM. You didn't get it there. Let's see what we got over here. ISM. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's low. It's 48.7. 48.7. So they forecasted 49. It was a miss. But it's better than last month. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby. We got to pay attention to that Fartcoin short because if this is good news, then it could continue to rally, and we don't want to sit in that. If you're looking to short, right here's the area to do it, guys. Stop would be just up in here. Remember, you're only risking Whatever is an easy number for you to handle. For me, it's $50 because I could potentially take multiple attempts on this. That's a very small, it's not even near 1% of my portfolio. It's like a quarter, not even a quarter. It's like nothing. Like I have 3,500 in my trading account right now. The total amount of money that I'm trading with is 15 grand. So it's literally nothing. I could be trading a lot more aggressive. I could be putting on $200-$300 risks at a time, but I don't want to do that. So Bitcoin, nice move up, stopped out all the shorts, smoked the day high. Just now testing the 236 of August's range. So if this ends up being the high for September, then Bitcoin will be a lot weaker than we thought, right? A lot weaker than we thought. So that's why this is a profit-taking area. It's an aggressive short, but it is a place to look for short risk if you want to short Bitcoin. We're holding longs from down here. We'll see what it does. We got our short risk on and our long risk on. So we'll mitigate that position. We'll see what happens as the day goes on, and we'll get rid of the one that doesn't seem to be working. Right? Simple. XPD USD, precious metal indeed. Got you. Let's go look at it real quick. Look at it on Oanda. So it is up on the year, which is no, gold is too. So if it's a precious metal, then we would expect it to be trading with, or at least similarly to gold. Gold is up on the year. Palladium is pulled back a lot more deep on the yearly range, if you will. It's also trading on the lows of a long-term monthly consolidation. Is this a rounding bottom? Are you putting in a cup and handle right now? You could argue that, absolutely. As this is your cup, this is your handle, right? Obviously my cup and handle is not so beautiful, but it's the same concept. That is basically what a cup and handle is. I should have added to the short on Fartcoin here. I didn't. That was my mistake. I'll look to add on a pullback wherever that pullback is. Then since I'm in with $200, I will only look to add $200 more. That will bring my cost basis from here down to halfway, wherever price is at that point. But yeah, I mean, risk is rejecting previous week's low right now. So as long as risk is rejecting the previous week low, I still want to hold that put on the S&P. It's a 7-day put, so I got all week to hold that if I want to. On a fresh breakdown. On the first breakdown of pretty much the first breakdown. Friday was also a move lower, right? So there's a big gap down right now on the cash market between 64.12 and 64.43. So not a big gap down. It's a 30-point wide gap. Nothing major. I'm not going to chase Fartcoin right now. I'm going to wait to add on a corrective move. All right, back to Palladium real quick because I didn't get it far enough. Let me go back to the monthly. Here, let me get Fartcoin up over here on the 1 minute. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now we'll pull Palladium up here. All right, back to Palladium. Palladium. All right, so basically, if you want to fib the whole year range, you can. And you would basically be saying, well, you know, it's retracing into the midpoint of the yearly range. So it could be a good support zone, right? But you need to see the buyers are at least stepping up there. Or you could do what I do and just, because you're trading as a 2-month range right now, you just started the 3rd month in the range. The range that you're trading in is July's range. You're trading inside of July's candle. So it's July's low that you need to beat or July's high. And when I say you need to beat it, I simply mean you need to see downside continuation from. So basically that is the main level that you need to be focused on right at this point. That is July low. So if you're under July's low, you got to be careful looking for longs because you could be targeting August's low. The reason August's low isn't the range is because you did not get downside continuation. You broke July's low, but you couldn't close below July's low. And in fact, when you look at it on a daily, boom, 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 boom. So July's low is the level to watch. For bullish entries, this is your fib on the yearly range. So what is the potential risk here on August? It's a down month. So we want to go maroon and fib it from the high to the low. We do that. We can see that we currently close the daily above the 21 exponential. So you need to see, for bullish continuation, you need to see today close above August's 382. You tested August's midpoint and found resistance here. So as long as this level holds, this is your short. Longs down here. That's the only trade to make longer term, for longer term holds. For short scalps and stuff like that, I would simply be watching today's midpoint for short entries if you have a short side bias, knowing that the daily 21 is right there at that 382 level. Check the 4-hour structure here. It's bearish because the 200 EMA is above the 100. The 100 is above the 21. That's a bearish structure, right? So the bears are still in control of this. You had a death cross here, and this is really the first time you're testing the 200 since the death cross. So right now, it looks as if the bears are still in control of the asset. This would be a short covering rally. And you did get 2 legs there. 1 leg up, correction, 2nd leg up, big 2nd leg up, but it is what it is. And now you're seeing a deeper correction. So the shorts were just waiting on August midpoint check, 200 on the 4-hour check. And that was their short risk mitigation spot. So they could put that risk on there, no problemo. So right now I would be very careful and maybe even a little hesitant to be a buyer just because of the weakness here. But if gold breaks out and has a continuation rally to the upside, then palladium might find support, right? It's had a much deeper correction than gold has this year though. So it isn't trading 1 for 1 with gold. It's doing its own thing. But maybe if gold breaks out and continues to break out, then you can potentially say, yeah, it looks like it's rallying on the near term. Here's gold's breakout. So we could potentially look for a long on a retracement. We're too stretched out to be taking longs here. You're massively overbought. I should have got you all in on this a lot sooner, and I apologize on that. We should literally have been buying July's open. That is right here. Like, this thing came in for a perfect July open retest. So this is where we exited our position. We should have entered a long position here. That is my bad. The dollar was so choppy and this thing was not breaking down, so it took me a minute to get the right side bias on it. But I missed it. It is what it is. S&P is still not above last week's low. As long as you're under that, you're weak on the day. Weak on the day. Going back to Farcoin, because we are looking for a correction here to add to the short position. And we're still holding Bitcoin longs. And then here is the actual account with the money. Bitcoin long down here, still holding firm. Pretty decent, above $200. I will mitigate that risk if it starts to fall. I will basically take half of this money off, set stops to break even, because I never jump into a trade without taking profits. It's just, as long as I do that, I know over time I make money. That's what my stats tell me. And then we're undersized here on Farcoin. That was a mistake on my point. Mistake I would not have made if I wasn't live, but that's okay. We made money already. So if I don't make another trade this week, I'm in good shape. I'm happy about it. The Pingu trade got stomped out, so that kind of sucks. I want to be holding one of these turds short for trend continuation for the month of September, if we are seeing a risk off move here, which I don't think we are. Remember, we're just in the regular context of a bull market pullback. IWM is nice and bullish on the day. USD pulling back off the highs. USD pulling back off the highs. This 30-minute structure on XRP looks like it wants to go higher. So we may get dropped out of that Farcoin short. DXY pulling off the highs hard here. This is what we want for our USD JPY short position. Get the market nice and bearish with a big strong candle on the dollar and on the VIX. But the yen, man, yen getting killed. I would want to see Aussie yen be extremely weak if I thought the markets were about to roll over. Aussie yen, not weak. Hasn't been weak for many days. Many days here. Looks good. I mean, that was a beautiful place to put on a short, but it's not a short. Not yet. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Pound is down 0.9%. So pound is rocking and rolling to the downside today. That's going to be based on dollar strength. Like everything is going to be red based on dollar strength. Swissy yen getting a push here to risk off currencies, kind of moving up. Not really seeing much on the Forex yet. We are looking for a rate cut in September. And as long as our news that we're about to get Friday, and then the news that we're going to get next week, which would be CPI, as long as this stuff comes in line or around what we got last month, then we will more than likely see a rate cut the week after that. And rate cuts typically have been bearish for the dollar. Not always. They're not always bearish for the dollar. Because when we started cutting rates at the very end of 2024, the dollar had an extensive rally. So we started cutting rates over in here, and the dollar had a powerful rally. It wasn't until we started 2025 when we got short on the dollar. That's when it started to finally price in those cuts. So just because we know a rate cut is coming, that does not necessarily mean that the dollar is going to die here. It could absolutely rally back up into August's open. So yeah, it could threaten our short. We don't want that to happen, but it could. Okay, so this is actually kind of good for Bitcoin because it did get a nice powerful rally here, and you've not yet tested the 21 exponential on the 5-minute. That just means it's pretty damn strong right now, or at least it is for this moment in time. Let's see if sellers are re-adding to those shorts because they did get smoked from here. They are adding. So if you have a bullish bias Bitcoin, you really want to see it break above this level and this level with ease. Let's get rid of, well, we'll keep this. Pretty sure we just drew that. We did. Perfect. Yeah. So we want to see Bitcoin break above this level with ease, above all this, and above this with ease. We don't want to see it just post up here like all day and into tomorrow, because then this volume will build up and your point of control will migrate higher, and that will look a little bit more not good for shorts. Going back over to Fartcoin, we are starting to get that bounce. Makes sense. We're at the intraday volume weighted average price. Now, where can we potentially look to add to our position? This, we're going to pull up the moving averages here. So it looks like we can add as high as around 76.75. If it starts to push above this point, because this is kind of where your resistance, your support was. It's intraday stuff, so it's not like massive. It's not like I'm expecting it to just instantly reject there, but I can add to my short here. Above it, I can't add to the short because it may be going to stop me out, and there's no point in adding at that point. If it fails to continue higher from this point, it's still close enough to the moving averages that I can add to the short, looking for continuation down, looking for a big risk off move in Fartcoin. But with Bitcoin being strong, it may screw those plans up. Bitcoin dominance, though, is also strong, so it could also help us. It's just one of those things, right? One of them is going to work, Bitcoin or Fartcoin. S&P is still well below last week's low. As long as you're below that on the S&Ps, you're threatening more weakness. And you did break down below a monthly trend line on that S&P as well. Here's the S&P. There's that trend line. It's basically August's trend line. So this was your low in August. Then you set a higher low in August. And now we just broke down under that trend line. So it does look like it wants to roll over. So this, from this point on, you could, in theory, look for shorts on the S&P. As long as you're trading under last week's low, you're threatening a deeper correction. Here we go. We're moving. We're getting our move. This is what we want. We want to see it pop up to here and fail. Let me get it loaded up there on the thing so I can get in or bail. What is that price? 76.80. What are we trading at? 76.40. We're at 76.42. Okay, they're pretty damn close. So I'm just gonna go ahead and work in that price. I'm not gonna send the order. I'm just going to work in that price. What I mean by working in that price is I got it set to limit up here. I'm gonna type that price in. That price is 76.75. It's actually 76.80, but if it's going to roll over, it probably won't get up there. So I got it situated. All I got to do is hit open short. And it will bring my cost basis down to roughly this area. We don't want to see it closing continuous up closing 1 minute candles away from the moving averages. On the 1 minute time frame, the structure is still bullish. Okay? It's still bullish. Your 21 is the only one that's broken, the bullish structure. Your 200 is below the 100. The 100 is below the 50. That is a bullish structure. 5 minutes probably singing a different song. No, it isn't. It's singing the same song. 5 minute structure is bullish too. It's the higher time frame levels that are bearish. 4 hour daily. Those are all pretty bearish. You're trading above September's open as well. So objectively speaking, you are up on the month. Let's go, man. Give me a wick up in there. Fill me. I'm going to go ahead and send that order. And I need to send no more than 200 bones. It'll be close. I'm going to go ahead and send it. All right. Limit set 76.75. We need to push up. I don't want it to get that close and reject. Otherwise, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the ad. Oh, sorry. There's the ad. But it needs to push up to here to fill me. Bitcoin is still pushing up, so keep that in mind, right? Our P&L is going up on the Bitcoin trade. We were at 250, we're at 300 now. So we don't love the short. We're just doing it to kind of mitigate these gains. We're trying to massage our positioning into the market. Hopefully that makes sense. Massaging the market. TSAUSD. Sorry, my friend. Let me go look at that for you because I have the limit out. Everything is situated. TAU. And then no, it's just TAU SDT. TAU SDT. I don't see. Oh. Right there is a perpetual contract. Holy smokes, brother. That thing is up. Woo-wee. Damn, it's not just up today. It started its rally Friday, August 29th. So you are up 312%. My goodness, why are we not trading this? All right, let me see if I can trade this. I cannot. On weeks, and that is so dumb because I saw it. If you just type in TAU USDT, right there it is, but it's a spot crypto. It don't have it on futures yet, so I can't trade TAU SDT. If you can, you might want to wait. Obviously, this thing is squeezing shorts, and it is continuing to do so. It's up almost 400%. Let's look at it on an intraday time frame here. This thing is so strong, bro. It is so freaking strong. You have not even tested the 50 exponential yet. It is super strong. Do not try to get in this thing's way right now. By looking for shorts, by getting cute, looking for shorts. This is very, very bullish. Very bullish. Looking on the 1 minute to see if you have not even tested the 200 on a 1 minute. So in a sense, what you want to do with this, it would be a very aggressive long up here. So I wouldn't be looking for the long up here. But what I would do is if this can pull back, right? If we can pull back on this, I can't trade it. But if you can, go ahead and do it. But want it to pull back into the 100. And then what you want to see is you want to see a basing effect. And you want to give it time. Like more than 10 minutes. Like 15 minutes. Give it time. Allow it to put in a sort of basing effect. Once you see that basing effect, you can then take your chances on a long, on like an oversold tick, or, you know, the low edge of the basing. You can hit the buy button and put in a stop very close to it. All right? Because when assets are this strong, here would be your RSI, so you would want to see, like, you're not buying the first oversold tick. You're not buying it when if it breaks down to the 100. You're waiting for that. Once that occurs, then you are waiting for a basing effect. Once that occurs, then you have my permission to buy it with a very tight stop. Because this is telling me that the bulls are not only in control of today's price action, it is so freaking strong. This is something similar to what we saw on Coronos those 3 days. Remember, when it is this strong, you are not looking for shorts. You are going to more than likely get stopped out. At any time, this thing can reject. But the only way I would look for shorts is if it did reject and broke down well below the 200 on the 5 minute. Since this is your point of control, that is the area that you would be looking to attack it to the downside. But only once you get that breakdown. Make the bears prove it first. I pulled off a similar trade to that with the XMR. Or was it something else? Pretty sure it was the XMR. Let me go check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the XMR. And it happened over the weekend. So, yeah. It was. Yeah. So right here, right? No, that was late. No, it must... No, it was here maybe? I can't remember, but I don't even know if this is the right asset. It was an asset that was up like 14%. It was up like 14%. Yeah, it must have been over here. It just immediately rejected and lost all this. So I looked for a short, but it wasn't this low. I don't know what's this. This can't be the right one. Well, maybe I can find it in Discord, but yeah, be careful. It's moving. TAU is moving. Can you chart pump USDT? It's another meme coin like Bonk. Yeah, and I can trade pump. It's very new, so technical analysis is going to be difficult on it. Like we barely have enough data here to even put on a daily 50 EMA. So the near-term time frames are gonna rule this one, right? So you're right now, I mean, this structure in here, I would have wanted to be looking for shorts. Now that you've broken back out, you have to be careful. This could just be a short squeeze, but it needs to prove it. Like, I wouldn't just be randomly taking shorts off of supply zones or anything like that. As long as you're trading above the 21 and the 200 here, you're threatening a deeper breakout or a bigger breakout. There's just not enough data for me to give you fib points and monthly ranges and all that good stuff, right? You just don't have it. You don't have the structure. You're trading inside of July's range. And unfortunately, July's range is so massive that's not really going to help us. What you could probably do is fib the entire July candle and just say, as long as you're under the midpoint of this, then maybe it rolls over. But this is the area to look for shorts. It isn't until then, right? Or you could take an attempt to look for shorts on it if you liquidate August's swing high and then fall back into August's range. If that occurs, then maybe you could take a short. So you would want to see a liquidation above, and then you would want to see it start to drop right back in the range and then find resistance there. And then you could look for a short. As far as buying it goes, I can't buy it until, like, this would have been the opportunity to buy, right? The way my rules work as a strategy when I am my trend following strategy is, once you're closing dailies above the 21 exponential moving average, I'm looking for midpoint checks to hold as support, or support come in and hold at the 21 exponential. So I could have timed my bullish entry right here on this day based on this was the breakout and it closed above this supply candle. So that open would have been the supply zone. So on this closure, it closed above and it closed way above this. So this is a legit breakout until you get a bearish engulfing. So if you put in this the next day, that throws this long off. We're no longer liking it to the upside because this was a bull trap. But you didn't get that. You opened, you pushed down into the 21. This would have been the entry down in here around the midpoint. That would have been the area of operation right in here. That's how we do it. You can see on this day right here, you got that perfect retest. That would have been the buying opportunity. And here you are, up. So you don't want to fight that. So right now, the near-term momentum, the last 3 days of price action is bullish. You don't want to fight that. This was the opportunity. This was the correction phase. You don't look to get long on expansions. You look to get long on corrections. You buy the dip. BTFD. It is so hard to do. I get it. But you need to train your brain that you are looking for this move after. And you can stop looking for that move after if at any point you start closing candles, dailies back under the 21. Back under the 21, then something else is happening on the near term. But right now, there really isn't a trade to take on pump.fund. I've seen a lot of people talk about it on X, and I get it, right? And it's nice. Like, it's moving higher and has been for a couple weeks here. It's good. That's good. That's what you want to see. You need to see expansions happening above previous swing highs. As long as you have that, then you have bullish continuation. And in bullish continuation markets, you're looking to buy dips. Fartcoin is pushing back up to our secondary entry here. Still isn't giving it to us. I do kind of dig this structure, but not really, because Bitcoin is pushing up. So now we're getting to the point on Bitcoin where we got to take profits, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta at least cut it in half. Once I get to the $400 mark, man, I gotta pay myself. Working with a couple $1,000s on the exchange, I look to make anywhere between $1 to $4 a week. And the way that I do that is by taking profits on $400 winning trades. And we're up there. We're almost there. We're at 365, so we're going to have to take profits. That'll make today alone about a $700 day. Not complaining. Come on, man, fill me. I do not want to chase you lower. If you're just joining us, welcome. I'm looking for an add to my short entry here. Right here at this line. On Fartcoin. I'm already short at yesterday's high up here. So I'm looking to add down here to bring my cost basis around this area, 77.20, for any breakdown that happens today. We've already done really good on the trade. I've already done really good on my trades this morning, so I'm not really concerned if I lose this trade or not. I do need to set a take profit on Bitcoin, so let me get back over there real fast. I already have the limit order out. Now, if you've entered Bitcoin here and you want to hold it because you think the whole entire month will be bullish, right? For September, you can. You literally can. There's no problem with that. That's the way we want to do things. We know we can't predict what price will do, but if we're going to see a monthly expansion to the upside, there is no better place to be long than the monthly open, right? Because if you're going to continue, to make fresh higher highs and higher lows on the monthly range, then you want to be long from here. We're a little bit higher than that, and it's completely okay. It's completely okay. But still, I will take profits and then leave the small piece on to catch any upside continuation. Or I could add on if we break above the 21 on the daily here, right? But the bulls need to do that first. They might not be able to do that. So that's why I want to take profits. I want to pay myself for taking the risk. That would be about a 50% return on the position size, a little bit more. So let's set the take profit at 50%. We're going to set the take profit at 50%, and we want to we'll just take 3/4 of the position size off. Like I said, we can always look to re-add. And then for the stop, we're going to slide this over to 100% of the position because that's what we want to exit the whole position. And we want to set this to 0. So we don't want to lose any money on this trade, but we do want to take at least 75% of the position size off when we're at 50%. And there it is. Boom, boom. There's that. All right, going back to Fartcoin. Oop, there we go. It looks like I'm going to miss this ad. This piece of garbage. And I do not want to chase it. But it does look like it's going to drop without me. Or it's not going without me, it's just going on a small account, on a very small position size. Lots of volume up here. Point of control still way down here. I don't love this structure for a short. I like this heavy volume up here on the top half of the daily range, but I don't like that the most heaviest volume is under or right at the midpoint of the daily range, is they can defend this area. That's also September's open. So that's why there's so much volume here. So many people are trying to get long and short at September's open right now, or have been all day. So the buyers can defend this. That's why I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to wait for my fill or nothing. What did we just liquidate a previous day high on Bitcoin? Real quick. No. It's a 4-hour swing. I'm looking at this wick. I was wondering if that was a daily high. It is not. It's an intraday swing. It happened at when we got the news on Friday. That wick up was a beautiful short op. So you're just liquidating those people. The New York session shorts from Friday, you've liquidated. It's not a daily high though. The daily high is up here. So hopefully it gives me another push into that take profit. I might have to lower it a bit though, depending on what happens here. I'd rather see it continue to push once it makes fresh day highs instead of making fresh day high and then immediately going into retrace mode. I don't love that. But let's be honest, it's not going to just... It did a little one time framing period right through here. You've not really pulled back at all since 850. You've been in a one-sided market. So I guess we're okay. But if it is going to roll over, I don't want to miss that ad on that fart. Because did I get the ad? I damn sure did. I got the ad right there. Nice. I didn't get a full $200 ad, but I did get close to it. I had $200 originally. I wanted to add another $200, so I wanted to have a $400 position size. I didn't get filled on $23. Big deal, right? Big deal. Not concerned with that. All right, so there's the ad. Perfect. Now if we can get Bitcoin to push up into our take profit, and then Fartcoin would to roll over, it would be a perfect day. An absolute perfect day. Duty, booty, and looty, says Madge. What's up, Madge? Volume, we read that. Precious metal indeed. Also, maybe if you have time on MicroStrategy. Yeah, we can look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's obviously been getting hurt because of Bitcoin. They've got their bags or their wagon hitched. Or I don't really know. You get what I'm saying, right? They're basically all in on Bitcoin. Like they're no longer a whatever company. They are a Bitcoin company. So Bitcoin's been pulling back for 3 solid weeks. MicroStrategy's been pulling back for longer than that. So that is concerning. MicroStrategy's been pulling back just as long as Netflix has been. Wow. That's interesting. Let me add MSTR to the tech watch list. So going over to Netflix, I want to see if they rolled over at the same time. So June 30. It's not the same. MicroStrategy rolled over a couple weeks later. This is the candle where Netflix rolled over. So you ultimately did get a deeper, higher push, and then it rolled over. But it's been correcting longer than Bitcoin has, because Bitcoin's only been correcting this will be the 4th week. So not counting this week, you've only got 3 red weeks on Bitcoin. Hey, 1, 2, 3. So MicroStrategy pulling back a little bit deeper. All right, so let's do this. Let's get rid of our moving averages for now. There's August's range. August is a breakdown candle. You broke down below the close of May, so you do have downside continuation and a downside close. You are no longer in a monthly range up here. You are still, if you're looking at this candle, or not. We're looking at 2025 only. Right here is your yearly open. So for the year, we set the lows in April, actually February, but then we rallied out of there in April. Same with all risk markets. Then you went up and set a fresh year high, not an all-time high, just a fresh year high. This was the yearly high. Boom, boom. So you were trending to the upside. Now you've set nothing really. It's just a correction, but it's still trending. So when you set the range in May, it was an upside candle as you took out April's high. You closed negative, but then you had upside continuation 2 months later. So this close was important for MicroStrategy to hold. That's why that candle puts that area roughly in the midpoint. So people must have been looking to buy that. Yeah, they were. Support, support, support. There's your breakdown. Boom. So yeah, that would be an important level to watch moving forward on MicroStrategy. Clearly, you want to see MicroStrategy get above that. But if it is unable to get above that or maintain a bullish rally above that, then you would have a near-term short side bias. And that's going to be based on the weekly 21 exponential. That's way up here. So you have multiple confluence levels here. Oh, damn cap lock, dude. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a heavy area on MicroStrategy moving forward. It needs to break out above that, needs to close weeklies above that. If you're failing to do so, then you have to have a very near-term bearish bias. Not an all-out bearish bias, not looking for a bear market, just for your intra-week trades. Longer-term holds, as long as you're not closing under this point, you're okay. That's a daily 200 test is generally a good area to be a buyer. It was here. It might be here too. It's clearly taking a lot more time to accumulate. So it might not, right? It might break down. It might head down here. That's going to be 2025's yearly opening range. So you need to see it hold support here. Otherwise, you're going to be threatening the year gains. That's your entire gains on the year. You're still bullish on the year. We only want to focus on this year's price action. We don't really care about last year. Because we're in this year, right? Last year's price action is done and over with. Everybody already paid their taxes on what happened last year. We're in a new year. And as of right now, MicroStrategy is still up on the year, but it's given back a lot of its gains. So MicroStrategy had an upside return of 52% at one point this year. What are we off? We're off 25%. That ain't great. That's damn near bearish. I mean, it is bearish. 20%'s bearish, but yeah. I want to see it hold support here. As long as you're not close, you could at the very least implement a put selling strategy if you want. If you have enough money to cover 100 shares of MicroStrategy to own, maybe sell like the 280 puts 30 days out, or sell the 300 puts 2 weeks out, and just keep doing that and just wait for the price to get here to fill you. You can at least go ahead and put that money to work without outright buying the stock here, because it's currently threatening to break down. It might be holding support. It is. I mean, this was a breakdown below daily support, and then today's making that a trap. So I would just implement a put selling strategy, a covered puts. Right? You've got the money, so just put the money to work and just collect the premium. And then, yeah, you can make money on it that way. So we're not breaking down here. That's a little bit concerning. VIX is back up to 1865. That's a little bit better for our Fartcoin short. Midpoint on the VIX is going to be, well, we've got a daily resistance there. So we'll call that 1779. As long as we're above 1780 on the VIX. Wait, what is that? Give me that price. 1784. As long as you're above 1784, you're threatening higher moves up. Risk markets have rolled over under last week's low. That's the level I've basically told you to look to put on risk. As long as you're trading under this, you're threatening lower prices. You're seeing that move now. So this is good for Fartcoin shorts, and this is good for Fartcoin shorts. This is good for Fartcoin shorts. The dominance moving up. But this isn't good for Fartcoin shorts. It's holding support above the point of control. I never like to see that. When the sellers are in control of an asset, you usually get big down swift moves. They don't take a long time to play out. So for the puts that I do own on the S&P 500, I am going to hold that as long as we're trading under last week's low. I'm not going to close the position. It's a 7-day expiry, so I've got plenty of time. Now, I'm still going to lose a little bit of money on a daily basis due to theta decay, but at the same time, as long as my option is in the money, I'm not being threatened by a big loss. Also, if the VIX continues to explode to the upside, then that premium is just those prices are going to be inflated due to rising volatility. All right, so we're just sitting here waiting for this to break down. You're holding spot on the XPD. It might still be good. I think the gold long would help. If the gold continues to break out, I think it would help. On one, John says, I was pretty spot on for 28-cent crow. Yeah, you were. Yes, you were. It absolutely was a pretty good spot. I mean, you're under it now, but you did get it. You did get it. It did retreat back into that spot. So it's literally trying to hold the midpoint of this rally. And it's not just this rally, that's going to be your entire month of August. So if it can hold this spot, the rally might not be done on Kronos. We don't know how much money is still on the table to go into this. I wouldn't be bullish on it though if it broke under that point, I don't think. Because I would be worried about it retracing all the way down to the 786. But if it fails to break under this, then I might even be looking to get long again on Kronos. We'll see what it does. Farcoin's starting to push a little bit here for us. I would like to see it drop. Alrighty. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, though. I see TAU on weeks futures, bro. Huh? TU. Oh. It's, yeah. You're right. And it's been heavily traded. You're right. Thank you. What I was doing wrong, I was typing in TAU and this popped up. But if I just back off the TA, there it is. You are absolutely correct. It's new, so what I can trade might be limited. But to be fair, it's 27 million tokens have been traded in a 24-hour period. So at least it's got liquidity in it on the near term. Yeah, so it can be traded. Jesus. This thing is freaking rocking and rolling though. All right, so let me put that up over here on this. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, I was absolutely making a mistake. It's TA USDT. I was saying TAU USDT. So it's a simple mistake. Which one looks better? Does weeks look better? Oh my gosh. This thing has went up since we were talking about it. We were talking about it over here. Look at that move, dude. From just when we were talking about it. It never based, did it? Yeah, I mean it did, but it didn't base where I said to watch for it to base. This thing is so strong. See how it based? It couldn't even break under the 50, man. Like, this is a 1 minute chart, dude. So many people are just FOMOing into this thing now that the shorts backs are against the wall. That's what you're looking for if you're looking to scalp upside momentum on these high flyers. You want to see massive strength. You have not even tested this level, this moving average yet. Like, it has been so strong. You got to the 100 through here. That's it. Up. So it is massive. Dude, that is crazy. What is that? Yeah, that was a 62% rally from there. Insane. You're looking at huge money. Don't fall for this stuff, guys. I know this looks like, oh, it's dead. That's done. That's the top for sure. Look at it. That's a big ass candle. No, it ain't, dude. You haven't even tested a 21 yet. It's a 1 minute. It shouldn't be no problem at all to test the 1 minute 21. No problem. This is not a rejection. This is just super volatile. Be careful if you're trading it, please. You can get wrecked so easy in something like this. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, it says I can trade max 146,000. Okay, so that means I can only open a position with 5% of my current portfolio. So give me a retest at 21, I'll throw a long out there with 5% of my portfolio. Yeah, I didn't expect there to be much up here. There's nothing up here. Yeah, shorts are getting absolutely pummeled right now. Let's just see how much that's moving. Let me just throw it out there. Just to kind of take the fill. Wait. Oh my gosh, that's moving. Yeah, it doesn't take much, man. You can get absolutely wrecked on this. Every tick is moving like with just a $100 position size. Every tick is moving like $10. So a big breakdown would absolutely wreck you if you did not have a stop loss out. $10 per tick. It's moving. It's flying around. It is flying. So let's scalp it. We gotta wait for a correction. I guess we kind of got it, but you guys must be jumping on it right now because it's moving. I'm just kidding. There it goes. Like I said, don't ever fall for this shit. Don't ever jump into the short. This is trying to invoke emotion. That's exactly what it is doing. It is working. So you get these big corrections that look deep, that are deep. Let's be honest. What is that? A 4 minute correction that was 13%. In 4 minutes, you dropped 13%. This thing is buzzing. Damn it. Yeah. This is gonna stay on watch. This is some crazy volatility here. And the only thing to do here is to buy because the shorts are so backed up. If we get a donk candle that, you know, does something like that, then maybe things will change. But right now, it's a buy. I wouldn't be buying fresh 1 minute highs. Nah, I mean, you can, because if you did get a fill at the exact spot, got in and got out, you were able to get about 6% there. That's insane. I love the crypto market. I understand that penny stocks do the exact same thing. It's dangerous. If you're not a great trader, you need to stay far away from stuff like this. All right, so going in with about 5% here. Wait a minute. Yep. Oh my gosh, just going in with $100 is so aggressive. Let me set a stop loss at $40. I'll just set it at 20%. It's right there. Like it's a 20% stop loss is literally at my entry. It's starting to look a little bit more heavy, but we'll see what it does. I did get filled, but I mean, just a wick down to here and I'm out. It's how crazy this thing is moving. Absolutely bonkers. It's almost untradeable. So this is the position right here. Entry stop. It's flying around. That's on $100 with 20x leverage though. Go ahead. Go on with it. Oh, come on. You can do it. Let's take some profits. At what? 100%. We'll take $100 off of it if it wants to give it to us. I guess for something like this, you would want to watch. That's absolutely bonkers. Yeah, it's probably gonna get us. It looks like it might be done for the near term. Yeah. There we go. We're done. Yeah, that's for the birds, bro. I'm gonna have to wait for it to base. We should have probably just waited for that instead of trying to get cute. I just wanted to see how much it was moving. It's moving. Let's see if it can base. If it can base, these sellers up here that think they're getting paid might still be wrong. I mean, they're getting paid. That's a big move, dude. If you were somehow able to luckily top tick that, or even if you were able to catch it here on this candle, you're getting paid. Take profits. Don't play around with this thing. That's a 17% move, dude. Oh my gosh. There's literally nothing happening up here. That is so crazy. That might be causing it to reject these prices because there's literally no demand and nothing. That's got to be wrong. You know what I mean? Something's up with that. This thing is flying. Farcoin is rolling over for us, but it's not really doing anything. And then Bitcoin, Still kind of just playing around here, not doing anything. This, on the other hand, is doing a ton of things. This thing is moving, so we're going to keep our eyes on this. Yeah, this is what we live for. Yeah, it's getting pretty aggressive here. This is so new. Maybe there's more data on another exchange. I don't know. I'm almost afraid to look. There's a little bit of data on the perpetual. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, we got stuff up there. Okay, good. That's more like it. Now that looks like a rejection. Attempt one more. We'll give it a minute here to chill out. When it's that volatile, it's just a flat gamble. I think I would probably rather wait for it to test the 200 for the first time to see what it does then. But, oh, damn it. I did not want to do that. Yeah, this is straight down now, so that is different. We got it once over here, but that was after a long time of sideways. This went up and it straight came back. So this is different, but it's going to be hard to line the short up. It's going to be super hard to line the short up. Wrecked City. Wrecked City. Fart old daily support is about 1 minute supply. Or 1 month supply, maybe. I don't see a month supply. Up here? No, he said 76.99. Surely you're not looking at a 1 minute bullish candle and calling that supply. At what? 76.99. That's all the way up here. Yeah, that's where I got filled on my short. Got you. It's old daily support is what he's saying. Yeah, it's a little bit beat up to be looking for fresh shorts. I get it. But as long as it's trading under this price, my position is not being threatened. My entry's about 77.17. And I'm holding the Bitcoin long, so if this wants to go up with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin continues to go up, then we'll just take the Bitcoin trade. We'll just hold this. Right, this trade is the one that has the money on it right now. We're only up 90 bucks on the Fartcoin short. We got 335 on the Bitcoin long. So the Bitcoin long is the one that's paying us right now. The Fart short is just kind of holding on to like a quarter of the gains for us on this trade. So how long was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes from making fresh all-time highs that it dropped down to the 200. Almost to the 200. I mean, it's pretty much there. That's sharp. That's a pretty sharp move. Yeah, that's a pretty drastic correction. Thank you for charting, Pump. Can you also look at Solana, please? Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Solana, look at GLD, just go. Solana is, Solana has obvious, like, it has utility. So we absolutely keep it on watch. It's looking okay on the year. It looks okay too for the month of August. It held the midpoint and it looks good for September. We tested the 21 yesterday and it held a support, and you've taken out yesterday's high. If you could close above that today, this would be like this. Not really a trap because support wasn't set. You were making fresh lower closes each day. So from here, the support level to watch would be like 197.43. The 21 is underpriced. I mean, this would have been a better opportunity. You wouldn't have known that while it was happening though. Clearly it would have looked rough, right? It would have been a scary buy to buy when you're breaking 4-hour support. Right? There's support up, break. It looks like you're going to see downside continuation. That's August's retracement. We've already retraced to this area in the month of August. So it wouldn't have looked like a good buy. But unfortunately, that was the opportunity, because when this wick came down into the 382, it also tested the daily EMA. You're also under the 50 here, so yeah, it wouldn't have looked like a good buy. It would have been a difficult decision to get long. And then it gave you another opportunity right here, as it traded all the way back down to this support. And now it's bouncing. So it's pretty volatile, but it looks good on the daily. Looks good on the month. Looks good on the week. I mean, you're well above the weekly 21. So the asset is bullish on all time frames: yearly, monthly, weekly, daily. So it is considered a BTFD as long as you're trading and closing dailies above the 21 on the daily. Until that happens, it's kind of a long. There you go. So it didn't hold the 200. This might be done. At this point, it would be literally impossible to look for resistance for short set continuation. Right? It's not maintaining strength any longer. So that was the final, like, blow off push, if you will. It's clearly not a blow off top, but I mean, at this point, It's looking pretty rough. Looking pretty rough. And point of control on it's way lower. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't do anything with it. If you got lucky and shorted the top up there, it was straight luck. Please understand that, because there's no way knowing where this was going to roll over. Good job, dude. You just made a freaking shitload of money. That's a 40% move. I mean, yeah. Nice trading. Nice trading. And that's a pretty excessive correction. It doesn't mean it won't make fresh highs, but I'd say it's pretty toasted for the day. Because your momentum buyers they've been stopped at literally every point that they would have been trying to buy it. Now they might wait for a basing effect and try it again, but at this point, it's going to look less like a long. So now you got to ask yourself, how far above the 21 are we willing to allow this thing to get? So let's look. So we started to top out about 26% above the 21 there. Let's get it right on the candle. About 23% there, so okay. So moving forward, you could short this as long as it is not closing 1 minute candles above 33 cents, 33.280. Now this is going to keep moving as long as this does. So this could be like much different. But it's looking like they're only allowing it to get about 30%, 20-something% above the 21 before it's like stretched. Shit, that didn't work. That's 34%. Yeah, it's dangerous short, man. It's super volatile. I don't think you're going to come all the way back up here, but I don't know. The fact that this pulled back so hard. But remember, this is the first 200 test. So it's not dead in the water yet. Like, if you look at this on a 5 minute, you're nowhere near the 200. So it's not dead in the water yet. It's not a guaranteed short. If you're holding shorts, you should take profits here, because if this starts to base up, you're still threatening a big run up. It does look like that's a rejection if I've ever seen one. Very volatile. I don't really have an edge at this point. I need a little bit more data. I just don't have the data up here to give me an edge. It's a dangerous long and it's a dangerous short. The Bitcoin is kind of like failing to get up there and hit my profit target. So I have a decision to make here. My decision is, do I just leave it? Because my unrealized P&L has gone up. So when this was setting at roughly 350, this up here was at like 30, in between 30 and 60. But on that ad, I was able to get another $200 in there almost. So the P&L went up from 400 to like 435. So by Fartcoin rolling over, if it continues to do so, then it's already at parity with Bitcoin. So in theory, I don't really need to take profits on Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin continues to roll over and Fartcoin continues to roll over, the Fartcoin trade will exceed the Bitcoin profits. But to maximize those gains, we have to wonder if Bitcoin is done, as it is rejecting the 236 of August's range. As long as it continues to do that, it's going to be very suggestive that September may be a weak month for Bitcoin. You can see the volume building up here. So the longer it trades sideways at this area, the more and more volume will build up here. That could ultimately help propel it higher and into our profit target if it breaks above this volume. But if it continues to trade sideways, this point of control is going to migrate higher. And then whatever happens from there will basically, it'll pull more volume in. Like shorts will be like, yep, it's rejecting. Longs will be like, yep, it's holding support. It'll be a push and pull. So I think we're okay with what we got. I mean, I've made money already today. We're sitting at like almost $700 total gains. And that's not counting what we have right now in unrealized. Total account growth for today. Coming into today, I was setting, once I took profits, I was setting at about 32, and the account's at 38. So we've got about $600. Wait a minute. So my math is wrong. We were at 32 once we took profits on the Pingu. And the Pingu scalp. Yeah, we're up nicely. That's for sure. We got $427 of unrealized gains. I think we're okay. So it'll go down though if Bitcoin is the one that rallies. So if Bitcoin is the one that rallies and Fartcoin rallies as well with it, then yeah, but I'm already set to take like $300 of profits. So back over here to Bitcoin real quick on the 4 hour. I really don't look at those small time frames. I just do that for you guys. I know you guys like to look at them. Yeah. This is my favorite time frame to look at, to just set and watch. It's just so much easier. You can see what's happening. This is a great big gigantic bullish engulfing at the September open. That is a support zone. Technically, this looks really good. So if it gets up there, I will cash out with another $300 of realized gains. And the Fartcoin, whatever happens, happens. I don't have anything set here. Why don't I have anything set here? I have a stop loss and a take profit out there. Why is that not registering here? And you can clearly see take profit, stop loss. So weird. And Farcoin is rolling over. It's just not rolling over viciously. But it may, right? It may. If Bitcoin breaks down, then it may roll over viciously. Bitcoin dominance is still pushing up. So Ethereum must be getting cakewalked. Yeah, Ethereum is getting brutalized. September open acted as resistance for Ethereum. Look at this volume. Look at the 3100. It's right there. Like, beautiful objective level. Nice intraday indicator that we watch. All coming into a head here, and then it's pushing lower. That doesn't mean it will stay like that. Here is your risk markets up top. So taking a short around the previous week low was a good trade. 415 to 377. That's a 40-point move, guys. We're generally risking 5 to make 10. You 4x'd that. Beautiful trade. And Tesla's still just not really doing anything. It's down 1%, 1.7% on the day. So you had a nice little rally up. That should have probably been when we took the trade off, but what's that? Oh. Okay, so we don't want to take the trade off just yet. This is the top side of that a symmetrical triangle pattern that was out there. There's your symmetrical triangle. So you broke out, you're retesting it. You would want to see the buyers show up there. Yesterday or Friday was a close at the 21. Today's close is going to be important, but not as important as what happens tomorrow and the next day. So if you close under it today, tomorrow, if you close under it again, it's going to start to look a little bit more weak, like they want to run it back down to this higher low for August. It's an August higher low. Is that your August open? So that is the August low. Just higher August low. We close under the daily, that's going, or under the 21, that's going to be a threat. But if we close under it today and then gap up strong tomorrow and push up, this will just be a pullback. It's still in a range. You are still trading in a 4-month range. You're in May's range. That you can literally delete all of this stuff because none of it really truly matters. Except for this and this. Because at that point, you will be breaking out of the range. And there is a large measured move here for if that takes place. Tesla could really go. VIX is up at 1888. So you do have an elevated VIX. Dominance is pushing strong. I don't understand why Farcoin isn't just breaking down here. It's starting to. So our short position on that's good. Got an alert up there. Yeah, S&P's under the weekly expected move right now. So this is a buying op. I just don't know if they're going to have it, because look at this. You're making fresh daily lows. Bitcoin dominance is pushing strong. That should put a little bit of pressure on Fartcoin. Your dollar is also pushing back up from the midpoint test today. That should also be putting a little bit of pressure on Fartcoin. So it does look like Fartcoin was the right call for the short. Like I said, man, if you're loving the shorts, if you want to be a short seller, please target those that are weaker on the long-term charts. You'll have better success. You will have much better success than always trying to short things that are up on highs. I say it so much, I don't want to sound like a nagging unk. You know what I mean? But most of the people that watch my streams are around the same age group as me. So I don't have to worry about Gen Z labels. Not really. But I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can learn how to do this. It is a skill. And if you get good at it and sharpen that skill, hone that edge, man, you don't have to work for anybody. You work for yourself. It's a good life. It's a good earning, a good wage. I mean, it's good. It's just across the board fantastic. When you really start getting good at it too, it gets so fun. It gets so fun. Absolute blast. I would rather be doing anything right now than what I'm doing. I love looking at charts. I love analyzing price. It's fantastic. It's like playing a video game and getting paid for it. Beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I want to see it break down under this. I think we could see a little bit more continuation. Just keep in mind that, if you took the short with me, please take profits, because this thing has been beat up. Now, I do like it for downside continuation for this month. I know that's disgusting. Let's get rid of all that crap. I do like it for downside continuation for this month, as long as you're trading under September's open. I don't see any reason why you can't hold a small position on it for the downside, because you just broke down. Here was the support. This was the candle that was holding it up. You could not close a weekly under that. Once you got under the 21 exponential, we should have seen that break happen on this week, and it still couldn't do it. And then a week later, it tried and just still couldn't do it. Finally, it did it. Boom. So we should see downside continuation. But that would be in a perfect world. And one thing that the markets are not generally is perfect. Like, they're chaotic and crazy, right? But yeah, I do like it for downside continuation. And this is the whole reason why I'm targeting it short. And it really hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, you can see here, there's a long period of time where it just basically traded sideways and slightly up, sideways and slightly up. And then one day of downside. And then 2 days of sideways. 1 day of downside. And then you're back up. So it's not doing what it did over here for the second half of July. We did nail this short. We nailed it up here. Right in there is where we nailed it. It was a beautiful trade. And there was a lot of continuation. This is continuation. It's just not, the lows aren't being very deep, if you get what I'm saying. It's like, just slow. But it is going lower for now. It could hold support here. Right now, this is still bullishly structured as far as today's price action, just today. If you're looking at the moving averages, this is as bearish as you can get. I mean, your 100 for the longest time hasn't even really moved. It's just been a straight line down. A little bit of wiggle here, and then boop. So it is trending to the downside. And I don't see any reason for that to stop. That's why we wanted to short this one today. Tomorrow, everything may change. The S&P may close up today, up at like 64.40, 64.50. And then all of this downside that we've seen this morning would be for nothing. Will be for nothing. But Bitcoin is struggling to break down here. So it does look like people are interested in buying it. That is a clear trend line break. I don't really care so much about this stuff, because trend lines can be put on subjectively. I try to analyze price as objectively as possible. So it looks okay, but until you get above the midpoint, it's all going to be considered just a short covering rally. But I think on the longer time frame, because we didn't close the month under July's open, it looks okay. So when you look at the monthly chart, right, it still looks okay. Yeah, we did take out the high to the upside and rejected, but you did not close under this. And you did not put in a bearish engulfing monthly candle, as that would have looked a lot worse. Just for people that are just looking at it, it doesn't look terrible. Right? That's still a very constructive looking line chart. Very constructive looking. It's a higher low for now. Only time will tell what it does. And I think we're positioned nicely right now. No matter what happens today, we're good. Gonna make some money. Well, we've already made money, but you get what I'm saying. The Russell has given back all of its daily gains. Oh, I don't want to change this. Sorry. We go back to the 5 minute. Let's pull up the Russell over here. The Russell has given it all back. So what gains it made today, it gave it all back. That's not great. You just did a gap fill reversal. Almost a flawless gap fill reversal. If you look at this on an intraday basis, come on. Gap filled reversal. Absolute beauty. I'm no longer in the long. We closed this position out last week. So the only two trades that I have open in the stock account is the Tesla long and the ES short. And the ES short is working. Big gap to fill up here later on in the week though. So as long as that's there, that's going to be a threat or upside move. We could potentially see it start to happen soon as your expected move low is down here. You're also, oh, sorry, I don't mean to yell. You're also in the daily support. From there. The next one is right down there, but I wouldn't be trying to be a buyer there. I like where it is currently. It needs to reject here today. If it does, then I will probably close that short out and maybe look to scalp it up to the gap fill. Now, if we put in the gap like this and we don't get the gap up tomorrow, then you could be looking for a 3% correction or waiting for. Well, hell, that's just right there. That's not that far away. $50 exponential is just at like 330, like a 3.5%, and it will be the first time that it's tested the 50 as support since May the 1st. You have not tested the 50 EMA this entire move up. So on a daily basis, this chart still looks okay. But the VIX is up. As long as your VIX is expanding, you got to be cautious. For sure. And I think we played that to perfection today. If I do say so myself. I'm far old daily support. Oh, I read that. EMA is curling up. I'm still higher. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, we're pretty golden. There's not a whole lot more we can do. Just let these things play out today. Let them finish doing whatever they want to do. And then you have this monster. It looks pretty done. It looks pretty toasted. But if you're going to continue to keep it on watch and scalp it out, be careful. It is moving. I expect the next few days the moves will drastically diminish. But let me put it on watch. Just so I can keep an eye on it. As we got Kronos, we might as well keep this one on watch too. Kronos is pretty much done. But it is at a potential support. So we'll just see what it does today. If risk markets keep bleeding, I don't see any reason why alts wouldn't bleed as well. Solana's still up 2%. So Solana's not taking the beating. Yeah, that's weird. Ethereum is back to neutral on the day. You're testing the day open right now. Right here is your day open. Oh, yeah. And what's XLE doing today? We do have a fresh break here on the XLE. We did ultimately test the breakout area today. I don't know if I would have wanted to take that long. But, I mean, it is a correction. It is a pullback. So there's your day open. If you close under here today, this is going to be a bearish engulfing. Wait. Yes. Yes. If you close bearish on the day, you will be a bearish engulfing on the daily. It's not really at resistance though. So I don't trust bearish engulfing signals unless it's at a major resistance and bearish. So like if you get a bearish engulfing here, for instance, on this day, that you threw in a bearish engulfing, that would have been a good sell signal. But way up here, a bearish engulfing is just a pullback, unless it's like that. Then that's a bit different. And you are at September and August highs up here. That's August's high. You did liquidate it today and rolled over. So that's kind of a signal in itself, but this is extremely strong and it's a fresh breakout. A fresh breakout of a 2-month, 3-month range. Boom. So it looks good for upside continuation. And if the stagflation theory, which is bouncing around on the social media, if that is going to be in effect, then you would want to be long energy sector. So that probably was the opportunity. Hopefully it gives us another opportunity. I mean, it will eventually. It'll give us another opportunity. And we'll have more data and we can make a better sound decision. Yeah, Bitcoin's starting to break down now. You are putting in fresh 30-minute lows. You just took out that 30-minute low. So the 10 o'clock low is no longer intact. Oh, and Farcoin has now eclipsed the Bitcoin gains. So the Farcoin short is now the leader. So yeah, I'll just keep this situated the way it is. So that way, if it does end up spiking again, then yeah, we'll get paid. If I get stopped out, then I'll immediately take profits on Farcoin, because this position will no longer be opened, and whatever's on this, I will want to reduce that risk by cutting it in half at the very minimum. I would probably go a little bit deeper and cut it like 70%. 2/3 of the position size is what I typically aim for. Depending on what my day is. My day is up so good now. In theory, I could leave this to run, but those very seldom ever work out. You know what I mean? Usually the ones that I leave to run are the ones that get stopped out. And then I always tell myself, damn it, why didn't I take profits? So there's that. All right, guys, I guess if there's nothing else, I will wrap this up. Nobody's asked a question in a minute. A lot of people have bounced, so it seems like everything's coming to a winding down here. Let's go take one quick look at Aussie Yen and see what's going on over there. It's pulling back, but it's not aggressive. The August Open would have been an absolute flawless short entry, and that happened at the London session. So the London session put in a high of day for now on Aussie Yen. If Aussie Yen starts to melt off, then I would respect this downside move on the S&P a little bit big, like a little better. Because whenever there's like a lot of bearishness in the markets, Aussie Yen can take a beating. And it's in a 3-month range, so we'll see what it does. We'll see if this is a buying op, or does it end up coming down and taking that low out this month. That's what I would prefer to happen, because I have that short on USD/JPY. I should have taken this, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I was awake this morning, so I could have taken it. I didn't pay attention to it. It's not completely done either. You're just testing the midpoint of the day's range. It doesn't mean it's over. I'm just saying that would have been a beautiful short side entry, and you would have got a few pips out of it. That looks like a clean 20 pip move. Yeah, a very much easy 30 pips. So yeah, I'm in the US. I found another pretty good exchange that lets you trade Coin M futures. Very similar platform to Weeks. What is it, Mr. Rowe? Because I would rather do that than exchange USDT. I love, if you can do that, do that. I'll look into the exchange. You tell me what it is. But I love doing that because you can just accumulate a massive amount of Bitcoin. That way you don't have to buy it. And you can also accumulate a massive amount of Bitcoin in bear markets and bull markets. Like, it's a fabulous tool. In my opinion, it is the best way to trade Bitcoin. Any exchange that allows you to do that, to trade the inverse perpetual swap futures contract, and the trade is settled in Bitcoin, it's fabulous. If you're a profitable trader, you can accumulate so much Bitcoin and you can just keep sending it to cold storage, and then you can have Bitcoin forever, or until you need to get rid of it, right? I honestly think Bitcoin will be okay, you know what I mean? But no one knows what the future holds. If you want to participate in Bitcoin, if you want to own Bitcoin, if you are a profitable trader, or if you're learning to be a profitable trader, you can take a little amount of Bitcoin and turn it into a lot of Bitcoin. Coin Catch is the name of it. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Weeks used to do it. I don't know why they stopped. I mean, they brought out their Futures Pro platform was new, so they wanted to drive everybody over to that. I guess it was just to make it easier on them, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I would much rather do that. When I was doing that, I was able to accumulate a lot of Bitcoin. Now I can just take the tether that I make, buy Bitcoin. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just one extra step. Whereas if you just trade when they're settled in Bitcoin, you just take the money, the Bitcoins, and just send it straight to cold storage once a week or once a month or whatever. And then that account grows. That is the best way to accumulate it, because you're not paying for it. And you will make a ton of it if Bitcoin crashes. A bunch. That's how I got the Bitcoin I own now. Thanks to inflation back in 2022. Literally when it crashed, I was just holding short. All the way down to 26K. It was a massive, massive win. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. I don't think you're going to see those kind of collapses anymore, but once again, nobody knows what the future holds. Everybody's watching. I don't know why that's up there. That's why I'm getting rid of it. Everybody's watching for the 4-year cycle this year. And I mean, I'm going to be watching it too, because nobody knows what it's going to do this time. Because everything is much different than the last bullish market cycle we had. During the last bullish market cycle we had rising inflation, massive rising inflation. We had the Fed getting ready to hike interest rates, and then they proceeded to go on one of the most aggressive rate hiking policies in history. And that is what caused Bitcoin to dump. The difference now is there's so many different on-ramps to participate in Bitcoin's volatility, with all the ETFs and the bond-like products that MicroStrategy offers, and all of the Bitcoin companies, the Bitcoin treasury companies, like all of that's going to massively change the way that Bitcoin trades. So I'm not sure the 4-year cycle model is going to have an effect, or at least maybe not as traumatic as an effect that it did back in 2022. It's like everything was just perfectly lined up back here to short. It was so easy. It was so easy. And then it gave us a year open retest right here. That was another awesome opportunity to get short again. The reason I cut bait here and didn't hold was because I had no way of knowing that FTX and the other exchange was going to collapse right through here. is when that happened. So this final push lower was that FTX collapse, and there was another exchange that collapsed, I think, through here. So those two exchange collapses, that's what pushed it. So everything is different now. Like, we're literally in a rate cutting cycle, and inflation is not skyrocketing. But we are coming to what should be the 4-year cycle model theory end. This November, this December for 2025 is typically when the Bitcoin did top out. So, I mean, if Bitcoin has topped out already, it's already broken the 4-year cycle. Because if you look at the BLX index, you're going to be hard pressed to find a market cycle peak in August, which is what we did this year. If this is the top. I'm not sure that it is, but only time will tell. If I was running things, I would spike Bitcoin hard right through here because everybody's expecting it to be weak for the month of September. So if I was running things, I think the best way to do it would be to push it and let everybody that's expecting it to be a bear market, let them get wrecked. I mean, this is not a massive breakdown by any stretch of the imagination. It isn't anything compared to what we've seen back in April. Now, it started off easy in February. It started off this easy. This is a very similar correction here. But when Trump said tariff this, tariff that, puke. He's got a lot of money tied up in this. Trump does. So I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't want to see a 50% correction on Bitcoin. So right now it's still, it's still structured bullish. But you are trading under that 21 on the daily. And anytime you're doing that, you got to be respectful of that fact. Now, it can absolutely trade sideways for the rest of the year. We don't know what's going to happen. But we just had the September open. So that is typically the time you want to be looking for long positions. It's my favorite time to trade. Yearly, quarterly, and monthly opens. They are fantastic. You don't always get the monthly open and then a drop, or the monthly open and a rally, but it just makes the entire month's range easy to get a bias. If you're trading above the opens, objectively it's up on the month. It just makes it simple. But I will write that down on my notepad here. Coin catch. Well, that's not a notepad, that's a snipping tool. Notepad, please. And I'll look into it. Probably not today because I have to end the stream and then immediately head to the other property. I get some mail and other things. But yeah, I'll give it a look. You don't have to shoot me a link, Chris. I don't know if you can even do links. I don't have any settings situated to where you can't. I think YouTube moderates that. I know I can drop links, but I don't know if anybody else can. FTX, Celsius, and Voyager exchanges collapsed. Yeah, I knew it was more than just two, but the Celsius and the FTX were the majors. Those were the major ones. Yeah, I mean, it was pandemonium. People were, and I mean, I get it. I would be very upset if Weeks was to close up shop. In my opinion, that's what really hurt offshore exchanges. That's probably also what guided the ETF decisions, right? US, the guys that run things were like, well, people are going to keep losing money if they keep putting their money in offshore exchanges. We might as well open up some ETFs so that way US citizens can participate in Bitcoin if they want to. and it's safer, right? And it is. Any day, weeks could close up shop, and I would not be able to log on to the platform, and all my money over there be gone. That's why I never keep more than 15K on exchange, ever. I do not let it go over that number. I'm okay with losing 15K, right? I'm not okay with it. I'm just saying, like, it's not going to affect my life if it happens. It would suck. Trust me, I would be very pissed off if that happened. But they're pretty, I've made hundreds of withdrawals from weeks, hundreds of them. And I've not seen a problem yet. So until that happens, and it usually does happen. So like, if Bitcoin does start to collapse here, I probably will shrink the amount of money that I keep on exchange. Just in case, right? Just in case. And with that kind of volatility, you don't need a whole lot of money on exchange ever anyway. You just don't. You can trade Bitcoin with 400x leverage. I mean, damn. That's crazy. You don't need 100 G's on exchange. If you can trade leverage, you don't need much on exchange. Yeah, good stuff. Blowfin Exchange has no KYC and lets you trade coin margin. It's not even the KYC that I'm concerned about. It's just, I already have so many accounts. I have multiple Forex accounts. I have multiple stock accounts, multiple crypto accounts. It's like opening another account is something I desperately do not want to do. I got a good relationship with the folks over at Weeks, so I'm going to continue to use them until the shit hits the fan. And hopefully it doesn't. You know what I mean? We can all pray that Bitcoin doesn't have any massive collapse that could potentially throw exchanges into craziness. But you never know. I mean, BitGet used to be cool. They've grown. They're a large exchange now. But they just kicked U.S. citizens to the curb, and they did that because of the leadership in the U.S. at that time. The leadership in the U.S. was literally gunning to destroy crypto. That was their goal. Choke point 2.0 was implemented. They were literally telling you, you are not allowed to do this. And that is such garbage. It's my money. I should be able to lose it how I want to. I can't take it with me. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't ever happen again, but we'll see. We got 4 good years, so I'm not worried about it, right? We got 4 good years. Everything should be okay. We just got to monitor any massive bear markets or potentials for bear markets. And I'll end you with this. Right, we'll go look real quick. We did this for the channel members, but I want to do it for the public as well. We are starting to see ratios pull off a little bit here. So here's the tech sector versus defensive staples. Whenever this is rallying to the upside, that's a good sign for risk on. You can see here for 6 weeks, you've not been really trending. And last week was a good week, but we're opening the week with a big gap down. If you look at growth versus value, also pulling back here off the top. So we are starting to see capital rotations. Could this just be a standard pullback in a bull market? Could it be a buy the dip? Yes. It's not a big correction. It is just right now a correction. Another week or two like this, and it will start to look a lot worse. Here is XLK, tech versus energy. This is the one that's got everybody's, this is the one that's rubbing everybody's rhubarb. Right? This is the one where everybody's looking at it, calling it stagflation. So, and yes, 2 solid weeks of downside and a gap down this week. This is what inflationary fears look like. So are we starting to see that? Yes, we are. This is a deeper correction than this one, than this one, than this one. This one is deeper. This one looks like the start of this one. All right. Now, this one lasted for, a couple months, and then it ultimately found support, but we'll see what it does. So this is also why we're starting to look for shorts, right? I'm trying to position you guys to be on the right side of the market. But we have to do it safely and effectively. We can't just be going out there throwing out shorts on everything we see. This is a good start to the week for Bitcoin. The thing is it going to continue this week? We had a semi-decent newsprint today, but the most important newsprint will come on Friday. That will be huge. That is your non-farm payrolls. Then next week, middle of the week, you're going to have CPI. These 2 weeks will be so important for what happens this week. If we see CPI go lower, then I don't think we have to be worried about it too much. Then you'll see a rate cut, everything will be fine. Keep your eyes on oil and energy stocks. Oil starting to rally here. You don't see this really doesn't affect CPI massively, but every what is the ratio? I forgot the ratio. I think it's every 10-point move in oil affects CPI by 0.2%, something like that. Oil hasn't moved 10 points for a couple months. It's basically been sideways, but it is moving to the upside here. All right, it is moving to the upside, so just keep your eyes on it. You can get long XLE if you think oil's going to rally, or you can get long oil, or watch Chevron, ExxonMobil. We have a ton of things to watch we got a whole oil watch list. ExxonMobil, CVX, Chevron. All right, you can do XOM. There's your rally. This is what's causing XOP. All right, this is what's causing the XLE to rally. Those stocks. So if there is going to be stagflation, then maybe this is a good thing to get into. Obviously, people are doing it. So we are seeing capital rotations. So it makes perfect sense to see IWM correcting today, S&P 500 correcting, because people are rotating out of this into those things. You're also seeing gold rally on a day with strong dollar. That's what's important here. You have a strong dollar today. The DXY is up 0.58%. Gold is up 1.43%. Rally time. That's crazy. But that's capital rotations. So be careful out there. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading.